game, so we've got to focus on it. It's Mirage coming up first. The choice of Illuminar, a map that VERTEX are capable of playing. So I want to see what they can give us here. Hopefully, at the very least, put up a solid challenge and ready themselves, of course, before moving on towards Nuke, which they probably will be a bit more confident.
Capable of playing, certainly. The question is as to the caliber. Illuminar are a very competent Mirage team, obviously losing to outsiders yesterday, but Honoris, Whistler, these are teams not to shake your head at. Those are solid tier 2 EU teams that they've been taking quite handily. So an interesting call, and we'll have to see how VERTEX can handle it. Straight into the pistol and straight up mid. Absolutely flying Illuminar. 3-man stack over towards the A side. They're looking to defend it on the CT side of things, and Roffelko tapping away is going to open up with an early double. Zan immediately able to trade it back, however, and in an even 3-on-3, that A site starts to feel vulnerable. Bomb for now is down in the stairs region, and there's actually a lurk from Masked over towards B. They're going to try and buy some time for him to get in position to go for some cheeky backstabs. Malta, though, reads it like a book and finds his team the man advantage. Make it 2 as Brace chimes in with one more, and it's all on Zan. Ace clutch or bust, and he's not taking any damage yet.
Yeah, wasn't even spotted by the second player that he fought. This time, though, it's going to be a bit harder. Can't quite get the bomb down. Takes the fight in the open and actually dinks them both. Okay, takes a ton of damage, but considering how much he dealt out, he's come out in a pretty decent position. As you can see, there is a kit in on the bomb site, so in terms of running down time, that's not going to be an easy task. He'll basically just need to take these frags. Spots Malta on the stairs. That was a distraction for APOC to start creeping in. Not landing at all. The head was what he was aiming for. A body shot or two probably would have been enough to finish it off. And unfortunately, he's not even going to be able to find that quick, swift headshot on the retake. The defuse, of course, easily found with that kit that was on the ground beside the bomb. And it's going to be VERTEX who do pick up the opening pistol round, but it got very dangerous. Yeah, this wallbang, as I said, didn't even get spotted by the second player that he had fought. Nasty start from Zan, the first time that I've got to cover him as well, so making a good impression.
Yeah, that was rancid, it really was. The fact that he's got 2 dinks as well to follow that up. If he picks up a USP there, he's probably won that round before they even make it out of jungle. Solid stuff, and he's given them a really nice buy into this one as well. Rifles up. CTs have got their own, though, and APOC making good use of them in these early moments. Brace there to combine. And 2 quick kills into mid. I think Illuminar were just expecting a couple more SMGs on the board, a little bit more that they could just mow their way through. Instead, 2 rifles already down in mid. The CT side sacrificing essentially all utility on everyone except Malta to make sure that they could get those rifles out, and it's worked brilliantly for them so far.
Not looking too good in the 3-on-5. You at least have some mid control. Player up in connector that can maybe lurk and try and cut off some rotations, but even then it seems like they actually just want to bring this towards A, so they'll attempt to split. Second player rotating back around towards the spawn. They're going to be playing pretty passively, which is ideal considering the split coming up through connector as well. So they'll have a chance to just pick off a couple of players, try and waste time and set up for what would preferably be the retake. They'd like to get the kills and stop it getting that far, but we'll see. Scout shot already landed. 2 players actually low health moving out from ramp, meaning that Scout is going to be a very dangerous weapon, as will the FAMAS be. As the push finally comes true, Mask actually gets both of the openings. Alright, damage had been done, so Brace gets the finish on 1, and eventually Masked is going to fall too, but it's all on the shoulders of Zan once again in the clutch, this time with an AK, and with a bit of time to force the 1 versus 1. He catches APOC Dud, but will he expect this fast flank? It's low health, so the MP9 should be good enough at this range, and it's the headshot just to be sure.
No way he expects that flank, but a solid effort again from Zan. 1v2, he finds 1, gets that bomb down, keeps the money coming. Down to the last man over on the CT side of things, and this is where it gets really interesting, that sort of discrepancy in the buy, right? We saw VERTEX going very hard with the rifles. They wanted 4 rifles out, 3 M4s, a scout, and then Malta, the only player who drops down onto the FAMAS. And that makes this buy a little, not FAMAS, MP9, that makes this buy a little more ugly. You're going to see Malta dropping across one, but the players who invest fully into the rifles, they start to struggle for utility a little bit. You're seeing it on Brace, you're seeing it on APOC Dud. They're low on util. Roffelko's dropped onto an MP9 to get nades himself. And it means that the T side, with that bomb plant, they keep forcing. They've got 2 AKs, 2 Galils. Blacktier drops to the SMG to get util himself, and if they can win some early gunfights here, Illuminar are within a really solid shout. However, Peasy has done a fantastic job aggressing into Palace, deals with Zan. The utility then comes out from the CT side to stall this hit, and Roffelko, well, he's going to brawl this one out with the MP9, blocking them as they come through the smoke too in quick succession. AK picked up and he wants more. He smells blood. Roffelko will finally be put down. But it's a rough performance there. Gets the job done. Tough and ready on the ramp. The MP9 good for 2, and Morels and PHR left. Recovering what feels like an unrecoverable position, especially with that nade chipping away at Morels. Just 18 HP left. He holds the ramp. He's trying to buy a little bit of time, perhaps, for PHR to get something done on a long flank through mid. But APOC Dud again, read it like a book. He's already there. He's ready and waiting. As long as his M4 barrel doesn't poke out past that wall, it should be a free kill. Goes for it anyway. Clean as you like.
Yeah, managed to just catch the timing on the peak. Probably would have got it anyway. I don't think the player pushing towards mid there would have expected someone to be waiting towards the top so late on with no mid presence at that point haven't been shown by Illuminar either. But a fantastic start from VERTEX. Roffelko maybe gets a little bit overzealous after those 2 kills, but he done a pretty good job considering he was on a weaker weapon especially. Took some risk then, hoping to just get a bit more with the AK, realizing he was pretty much trapped, I suppose, up close on ramp. Only pistols. It is deagles across the board though, so maybe get rid of the only part. They can definitely be dangerous. But already some pretty good damage has been done. Zan put low, Morel's taken out, and well, a good bit of aggression around mid, which stopped the plan for Illuminar, which seemed to be to try and work the default around mid with those deagles. Try and utilize the range. Instead, forced back around, and well, they're not really set to commit anywhere, but it does seem like they want to probe pretty much everywhere on the map right now.
Solid start this for VERTEX. Looking pretty clean in the opening engagement. Peasy's taken some damage, but he gets his kill and gets away, so not of any real concern. Blacktier chews on a nade as well. It's probably about this time that we start to talk about Mirage as a map, and well, okay, Roffelko takes Zan's head off, so yeah, we are going to just get through these remaining pistols without too much fuss. And it's an interesting one because you and I both talk about Dust 2 as the map that you don't want to play your underdogs on. Davey, the former NA pro, always says it's Mirage every time. You don't want to be picking Mirage against underdog teams. They can get too much done too easily. Everyone knows how to play Mirage is the phrase that's used, and as Blacktier's put down, we're starting to see that for VERTEX now. They're looking very clean on their defaults. Their CT side holding firm against the initial rifles. This is where it gets really interesting, though. For the first time, AWP is out for masked, and we'll have to see what the plan is with full AKs and full util behind him.
Forward to seeing what he can do with that. We've had a couple moments from Zan so far. Overall, though, we need everyone on Illuminar to wake up. It's a very quiet start across the board. V up, PZ. He had his moments yesterday as well, as we had said. Unfortunately, was just up against a very capable opper in the form of Maka. It's not looking like anything too crazy in the early stages from Illuminar. Moving for the mid control. Smoke was initially down. They're going to leave Morels, I believe, just as a bit of a lurker. Seems like they're moving the rest mostly back over towards A pretty quickly. Surprised they're not doing a lot with the mid control. They just want to leave the one player as a lurker, it seems.
Yeah, well, I suppose that mid control has been hard to come by up until this point, so they're not necessarily trusting it. Maybe smelling a retake. Peasy not flashed at all, but he can't land his first shot. Utility will buy him a little bit of time to reset, and buy Roffelko a little time as well, as he's in an awkward spot now without the cover of his AWPer. Hung out to dry somewhat. Pop flash back in. They know he's there. He can't quite spot out the man tucked on top of the vases. VERTEX looking a little split now. First time the rifles have come out. Brace is aware that they've given away that mid control, but It means there's one less person staring at the offensive coming out of the A ramp. Roffelko again flashed in, looking for more, and he'll get it. Morels trades onto Brace, though, and again, it's Zan out of Palace, continuing to get work done. PZ at least able to nab one from inside of CT, keeps it competitive in the 3-on-3, drops bomb as well, which has sent Zan on a little bit of a recovery mission. Actually going to pick himself up the AWP as well as we head into this after planter. Molter looking to spam the planter down, just holds it straight through onto PHR, and it's all on Morels inside this 1v3. Molter low on HP will be mollied off, gives an isolated 1v1 to start things out, but Apoc Dud wins it straight up. And this is a completely different look to VERTEX to what we saw yesterday, Dean. Yesterday they were struggling. All the fights were going against them. This time they're taking 1v1s and then winning them straight up.
Yeah, in fairness, Falcons are probably a little bit of a notch up in terms of some of the individuals, for sure, with the likes of Haji, Maka, and such in there, but Illuminar are a very capable team as well. The core, obviously, has been together for a fairly long time. So, certainly an impressive start to the series here from VERTEX. See if they can keep it up. This obviously is the choice of Illuminar as well, so if they do manage to take a convincing win here, Nuke then could be pretty scary going forward. Nice little leg on towards Brace, so that's actually a decent start into the round. Something that's eluded Illuminar so far. Sadly didn't quite get the opening kill. They should be expecting that this is a one-way, surely. Doesn't matter, they just didn't give him any chances.
Re-smoke it, make sure it's definitely not a one-way. PHR has managed to open up this time, though, and it's PZ. The Orpa who goes down, trying to aggress over towards B. PHR waiting for it. So mid-control gathered, a pick over towards this B site, but again, it's aggression down the ramp. Again, a perfectly timed pop flash gets Roffelko in. And that's so much control taken away as well. What could have been an A split pretty much has to be B at this point. Complete lack of control on the ramp. It's allowing for further rotations as well. Molter actually grabbing that AWP, posting up into the apartments. He's going to have a job to do. He wants to aggress it as well. This timing could well be everything. PHR and Morels tucked on the right-hand wall. Missed shot from Molter. Movement betrays him as PHR doubles his kill count over towards this B site. And it's a charge on in now. Mask has dealt with the site player. Black Tier comes in with one more. And just like that, Roffelko is left out on a limb. AK in hand. Probably wants to look to save it as well. It's a very similar CT economy situation to what we've seen pretty much all day. They're getting the kills, they're getting the rounds, but they're not keeping players alive, and that means after just one going wrong, despite it being 5-1, your economy's pretty much broken on the CT side. Brace is completely broke. The rest of them could probably scramble it together.
Crack through the first round, which sometimes can be the hardest. They can elude you the most. Especially now that there is actually a small weakness to this buy here for VERTEX at 5-7 in the hands of Malta, and already a very quick entry in on mid from Masked. He actually flashed that for himself, blinded himself in the meantime, and then still got the kill. It wouldn't have been enough of a challenge otherwise.
Just AWP things. That feels like what Illuminar have been trying to do for the first few rounds, right? They want to brawl that mid-control. They want to get an early pick and then just completely reset. Deny all information, force the CTs. You're seeing it now with Apoc Dud to use extra utility, commit to retaking that portion of the map, and then start to plan your executors. Out the ramp comes Zan, nade in hand. Roffelko, a gift of a kill. He knows he's under pressure from multiple angles, but he's got PZ inside of Palace to back him up, and he swings wide for more. Marsh the next to fall, and Black Tier and Morels. Well, Morels was meant to be the late rotate to cut out any kind of CTE rotation from short. We've seen Molter and him duel it out a few times already. But it means that Black Tier, very isolated on that A ramp. Bomb on his back. He knows he can't afford to go down, and the timing on Molter's peak is going to be everything here. He gets the freebie. And Black Tier, well, he's open for a bit of smoke cheekiness, but nothing found so far. Nice headshot at least onto PZ. Needs a little more where that came from, though, and he's not expecting. Yes, he is. Reacts to the second man in sandwich, and a firm headshot onto Roffelko. Suddenly makes this feel viable. 6 HP. Looking for the 1v4. He knows he needs the headshot, and Molter's nade will hone in. The airstrike gets the job done. But, well, Black Tier comes out with very nearly a miracle round.
Yeah, giving it the best that he could. Considering the health as well, it shouldn't have got as close as it did, but I have to see now exactly how the economy's shaping up. Yeah, they're not too bad actually. It's only PHR who can't quite buy. He can get a Galil if he wants to. Maybe even get an AK dropped over by one of his rich teammates who have a little bit of extra cash if they're willing to sacrifice on nades. So that's not going to be the problem. The problem is that they did fail to chain any rounds together, so VERTEX just managed to return. They managed to not stabilize their economy, but at least keep themselves in control for the moment. Although they might have stabilized the money a little bit if they didn't drop an extra couple players towards the end.
Again, charging out mid. A little bit more resistance this time from PZ Embrace. No frags found by either team, however. Happy to settle into the default. Again, though, the CT economy. It's almost cruel. You're 6-1 up, you've lost one round, and yet there's a 5-7, an MP9, and a FAMAS, and you're up against 3 AKs, a Galil, and an AWP. Just a bit savage. Retake into mid to come through. Smokes window and top con, suggesting some kind of a split. Gives them options as well. B still a viable chance given the utility that's gone down, or up top con, wait for that second smoke to fade, and then you can hit in towards this A site, and that's what PZ's watching for. A little bit of cheekiness out of con from Blacktier, but PZ's up to the task. Man advantage found for the CT side, and you can see Illuminar with 40 seconds left on the clock aren't too sure what to do about this. The bomb is deep inside of spawn. They've got control of mid, sure, but with 30 seconds left, where do they want to take that bomb? It's actually working its way in towards mid as Morels has worked his way up short. 3 players here to meet him, though, and the CT side have read this one beautifully. Masked finds a kill, and that may draw them away, but as Brace deals with Morels, the timing's just not going to be there for the bomb. 15 seconds. It's got to make its way out onto the A site, and if PZ just stands firm, this should be a job done. Masked at least cuts one of the rotations away. 7 seconds. PZ just has to deny the bomb, and the bomb's not even interested. PHR's out of dodge. They're looking to save the rifles they've got. It's a 7-round courtesy of just a little bit of confusion from Illuminar.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean, a couple extra seconds maybe, and they would have had enough time. But even then, PHR was kind of cutting it close. If he ran straight up connector rather than taking out his Galil and such, he might have actually just about had time. Can't really dwell on it though. They're down 7-1. They need to just focus on trying to grind out another few rounds so that they can come. They can pull together a decent T side here. Because again, this is not really what we were expecting out of this. I thought this would shape up to be one of the closer games. The Order versus Endpoint match should also be very interesting that we have coming up next. But this one was a bit more unpredictable. 2 teams who their levels aren't really known, I guess. I suppose that's shown right now. Bit of a wild card with VERTEX coming through and looking really good overall. Gotta be careful though with this op in play. Morels catches the lurk up connector, and now they have a player pinned on the left side of CT with a molly as well that they should be able to take him out with. I don't think it was quite deep enough. Yeah,
does manage to back away though, and he grabs one. APOC Dud combines. It starts to get very messy into the late round. B site has been abandoned, and Blacktier has managed to thread the needle to get there. Timing is going to be everything, though. Masked wants to get that bomb over towards B. He's being pushed up top mid by APOC Dud, and I don't know if he saw him. Blacktier waits for the flank, and there he goes. Cracks into Malta. More bodies to be found. Roffelko is only a bullet away. A well-timed shot will deal with him to the chest. But it's this battle that's the most intriguing one. Masked is shifting his way into B, but not quickly enough. APOC Dud's got his man, and that's bomb down. Roffelko and APOC Dud with 37 points of health between the two of them against 2 full HP Deagles, and Blacktier's got his man. It's all onto Roffel. An early kill in towards CT. The problem is PHR already in a position to cut that rotation away, and Illuminar have their second. Absolute chaos pretty much across the map as VERTEX just lost control of the situation with those opening 2 kills. Really had no idea where the T side were going beyond that point, and it meant they just got cut off every time they went for a rotation.
And surprisingly, they've been broken down just with one more round being taken. Obviously, a little bit of back and forth had occurred, but considering the score, you would have thought VERTEX may have built up a small bit more money instead. It's 5-7s for everyone. It's a lot of 5-7s, though, and from what I can recall, their 5-7s were pretty damn dangerous yesterday, so yeah, they do need to be cautious here on the side of Illuminar, already losing one. Morales finds a bit more success as he makes his way up short, and if he takes out the second player, he should confirm the bomb site itself for them. The problem is there was two players still in apartments, and I thought the molly was going to hold them back, but PZ doesn't really care about fire.
Not these flipping 5-7s again. If Roffelko can get one here, if he can find Zan, I can't believe I'm saying that, and Zan will take it away from me, but if he found that kill, that's a rifle and a ramp control. And suddenly you'd be feeling a lot more confident about this round. As it is, though, couple of rifles is a good save for PZ and Brace. Like you said, bring 5-7s into the round, get several kills. It's a good look, right? Couple of kills, couple of rifles to save into the next. It bolsters the economy when you would have been looking at a full eco otherwise. Third round, though. Illuminar starting to stretch their legs on the T side of their map pick. Does feel like maybe they started a little slow here. They're starting to work their way into things, and they are, generally speaking, a pretty CT-heavy team on this map, so not necessarily unexpected. VERTEX much the same, although much fewer maps to take that from, so take it with a pinch of salt. Opportunity now for Illuminar just to start establishing themselves in this series, right? Get the fourth round, get into the full ecos. Build yourselves the first half. You know this is your map pick. Illuminar clearly feeling confident on it. Up against two rifles, two 5-7s into this one. Roffelko and Apoc Dud tasked with pulling off the magic, and well, PZ wants some magic of his own. Beautiful pot flash into top mid, deals with Black Tier, and that's a huge opening pick as well because he's got a man with him, and it's going to be Apoc Dud able to recover a rifle. Two rifles becomes three. There's a 5-7 potentially to be dropped. They can't really get it to Malta, however, as he's pinned behind the back bench. The rest of the team are funneling into this B site. They're desperate to get there in time. Apoc with a lovely Molotov, though, opens it up. Malta finding Dinks with a USP has brought PHR down to 16 HP, and he's bought time as well. PZ rotating the second rifle in, and you can see this T-side is scared. Morels has made it out to the van at the very least, but there's bodies left, right, and center. He finds one immediately to be traded. And the Illuminar don't know if they want to go for this or not. Everyone is here for the CT side. They're starting to work their way back in towards spawn, potentially clearing underpass as well. But that's rifles. There's still Roffelko out towards that A site, a 5-7 in hand. He has not moved from Firebox. And it looks like they're going to try and double back into a heavily stacked B site here, Dean. There's two rifles. Considering what they brought into this round, to have two AKs ready to receive this is an absolute gift. And with 30 seconds left, this is where it starts to get a bit tetchy for Illuminar. This is where you can see them forgetting to clear one of those angles. PZ gets the first. That bakes them away from the position of Apoc. Does he choose the HE? It's a rough old spray, but he lands it. And it's on to PHR. The CT molly forces him out that window and forces him right into Apoc Dud's crosshairs. An 8th round, a guaranteed lead at the half for VERTEX, and a CT side that just keeps on stomping.
Well, that works. They had two 5-7s, an AK, and an M4, and they managed to trade it back. That was a chance for Illuminar to really take over. They would have got their 4th round. They would have built up a really good economy off the back of it as well. I mean, they still even have enough to buy right now, thankfully. They would have been in a position where 6, 7, maybe even still 8 rounds would have been a possibility for them on that T side. Instead, a little bit of a tactical pause being had. Chat to see what the hell is going wrong here on the T side of their own map choice. Liking the team effort as well from VERTEX. No one standing out quite as much as yesterday. We had PZ, who was, if I recall, on Dust 2, kind of leading the way by a decent margin. This time everyone's performing, and it's reflected much better by the scoreline, of course. Very quick push here on short, actually. It does catch Apoc Dud off guard. Ooh. And Bryce is going to go down. Only you can see the tip of the head of Morels. He was happy to bait it out for a while. And allow for Mask to catch those legs under the smoke. So a 5-on-3, full mid control being taken as well for Illuminar, and they have plenty of time to just slow it down and see what sort of response VERTEX are going to throw at them and look to punish it.
You could see in the spray that Brace wasn't entirely sure what he was looking at. Spray moving left and right as Mirage just kept his head tucked. 2 kills to the good now. A 4th round on the cards if they can convert. Bomb is in spawn. Now, this always makes it feel a little awkward. Zan, timing is everything, and he catches it well enough. Roffelko thought he had the golden ticket there. If he finds that kill, Bomb is down in spawn. He can get over towards it, look to defend. Instead, it's both CTs looking to stack over towards that B site, and there's no reason really for the T side to commit beyond that Morel's push to try and take rifles away. Bomb will go on the back of Zan. They haven't spotted the second player yet, so they are going to be a little cautious with it, but they know the A site's open. Bomb starts to make its way out. There will be a little bit of support, just in case there's any cheekiness, any angles that somebody's forgotten to clear, but it will be a 4th round regardless. And for Malta and Peasy, it's all about holding on to these rifles now. Open an AK. Be good to bring into the next round. And to be fair, the T side haven't got a whole lot of money to hunt, so I suspect this will be just a little bit of a handshake stalemate.
They seem happy to let the op and a rifle be carried through. With the money that APOC Dud has, and Malta being in pretty decent economy as well, they should be able to drop over and at least get a buy out of it. But it'll be risky because if they'll be putting everything in. It'll be a chance for Illuminar if they were to take that 5th round to basically have a 6-10 off the back of it for free. So we'll have to see exactly how it plays out. But Illuminar finally seeming to come to life a little bit. And more convincing round here as well, only dropping the 1 casualty. Indeed, it's a double eco even on both Brace and Roffelko, so they definitely have to just buy up and drop.
(8-4). As you said, a little bit of an awkward one. This is the do or die round that could decide the context of this half, and Peasy started it off the right way. Molotov goes in, flushes out Morels, cuts his angles down. Sacrifices his life so that Mask can get out of ramp and the man can get up. PHR flying up short to get control in towards the ladder room. APOC Dud looking for some re-aggression. Wants to turn this 4-on-4 into his team's favour, but now he's isolated. Got to be desperately careful here. Can't afford to give his life away. And Zan wants to hunt it. Thinks about going through the smoke with a flashbang behind him, but opts against. And this is where that flank from PHR is everything, but it's a whiffed spray. The connection not quite right. Mars next up to take Brace down, and it's onto Peasy really to hold this site down. Black Tier trades his teammate's death, but he's into the 1-on-2 now. Clean spray onto the first. Low on HP, and Peasy pins him. 9-4, the round that they desperately needed is connected for VERTEX. It's hideously expensive in the context of the game, though. You look over at the economy. VERTEX have consistently been broke. Never really had the kitchen sink by.
Yeah, I mean, even in the rounds they were winning early on, it was usually fairly contested. I mean, we seen them after the first round they lost, I think, already left with some weaker weapons in their buy, so yeah, it's never really been perfect for them. Illuminar definitely trying to keep it as challenging as they can, but ideally right now they're aiming for these 2 final rounds, more than just a challenge to be given to VERTEX. For now anyway, mid control looking like it's pretty much free reign for them. No one really challenging in. PZ's around the window, but probably won't look to commit too heavily to actually taking the fights in towards mid. Especially now as he's going to be smoked off either way, so what is the plan? That's the question. Still just split up on this default, perhaps expecting VERTEX to get a bit more aggressive with whatever weaker buy they have in play.
It's not a bad buy though. 3 MP9s with the 2 rifles. Up close and personal, they can get work done, and that's exactly where APOC Dud is. Oh, desperately close. to spotting a shoulder instead. It's the backstab from Black Tier in through ladder. The man advantage found, and this is where it gets awkward for VERTEX. They're turtled inside of their respective sites. It's a 2-2 split, and there is a lot of pressure about to be imparted on B. It's Peasy really to do the heavy lifting. AWP in hand, he catches Must. A big opening. Now he needs to bait for Malta, needs to buy time for his teammates. Swinging from short. PHR, a missed shot from Peasy. Another. He's tied inside of the site. He can't get anything done. Ruffleco will find one. The A-Lurk taken out, but Peasy needed a little more than that. And in this 2-on-3, VERTEX gonna make the intelligent call. It's a tough one to make, but they're gonna have to call for it. Bomb will tick away. They will save a Galil and an M4 into the next, because you'll look across at their money and realize they're flat broke. And suddenly, this half starts to look all right for Illuminar. It is their map pick. They would have wanted more, but it is T-side of Mirage. And they are going to end up at least a 5-round half.
Yeah, with 6 being pretty likely. I mean, even with these 2 M4s being saved, or with the M4 and a Galil being saved, rather, they can't actually drop rifles, so it'll be something a little bit weaker. Maybe some SMGs given over, pistol, then on whoever doesn't get a drop. With that, Illuminar will have a really good chance at rounding out the half of the round for themselves, which, considering the score at 1 point, has been an absolutely fantastic recovery. Ruffleco, but on the sacrifice down to the MP9, actually gave the Galil over to Malta. Good teammate. See now if he can make use of it. Once, of course, they're finished deciding what exactly their plan's going to be. We're probably going to see some sort of aggression, I'd imagine, since they called in that pause. They mostly have been just sitting back on the bomb sites. They might even just try and challenge mid a little bit more.
I think that would be the way to do it, right? A couple of pot flashes into top mid, take the contest. You've seen that Illuminar repeatedly want to take that chunk of real estate, so if you could fight it at source, then maybe those lesser weapons would get it done. Looks like they've gone for plan B, though. Your second suggestion, Dean, of just turtling. Couple of players under Palace. 2-man setup under Dark. Peasy roaming with the Deagle, much like you would do with the AWP, but a slightly lesser weapon. A-pot boosted, but immediately read by Black Tier. He plays that ladder position T-side. He knows the ins and outs of it. He knows the freebies, and Morel's up short has caught an absolute gift. I don't think Malta had any idea the kind of control that they'd lost at this point. Dink onto Peasy through the boxes. Fortunate not to get the kill, Morels, and at this point it's falling apart. It's going from bad to worse. Brace, consolation kill, but he's immediately picked off. Mars, not a traditional lurk on the AWP, but he makes it work. Well, me and Peasy can grab a rifle at the very least, but he knows Mast is still in towards Palace, and that's making his retreat very awkward. And even with that lurking player so far away, there's still a man advantage inside of the site itself. A 2-on-3 for Ruffleco and a low HP Peasy before that backstab looks to come in. Peasy with some good damage. Spots out the man for Ruffleco to convert on as well, so there's a nice kill to open things up. Morels now with Zan has got to hold on to this site for all he's worth, and it's an awkward spray. Peasy will trade again, but he knows he's being backstabbed all the while. Mast gets him. It's a 9-6 half. It all hangs in the balance here on Mirage. We'll be back to see which way the scales will swing after the break. tense first half sees VERTEX with a 9-6 lead as they head to the T side of Mirage. Still a lot of heavy lifting to do. Both of these teams CT leaning on this map, but not a bad start at all from the Aussies.
No, an absolutely fantastic start, a good middle, and a slightly shakier ending. That's how, of course, Illuminar did end up coming through at the 6th-round T half, which is a respectable scoreline. They can work with it, they can build off of it now, especially if, of course, this pistol round goes their way here. First, though, we have a little bit of a pause, unfortunately. Make sure everything's going smoothly before we get the action back on. An important matchup, of course. Loser first being eliminated, with this already being the lower bracket. I'll have a match later on between Order and Endpoint to decide one of the spots, I believe.
Yep. We get to pick one of those Pro League spots, and that's a big thing to say. Luckily, that pause is relatively short-lived. We will get back into the best of the action, and this is where I think this series is going to be decided. Early momentum. A 9-6 scoreline. Illuminar get off to a flying start on the CT side, and suddenly that lead from VERTEX seems oh so far away. VERTEX get going early. As my hiccups suggest, pure shock. They'll be flying into a lead. It's going to be the early B play. PZ's been left to lurk. Seeing this more and more at the moment. Trusting a man to see if he can get anything done, but PHR is having none of the nonsense. Free kill, and here we go. B-pop to be called. It's going to be on Master Morels. Flashes, smokes over the top, a couple missed shots, and APOC takes full advantage for an opener. Now masked, covering about 7 angles at once. Too many bodies, not enough time. PHR does rotate in, and Black Tier charging through the window finds another. PHR continuing to frag out, and what looked so promising immediately falls apart at the seams. Black Tier and PHR, the heroes of the round, with a quad kill between them, keeping Illuminar afloat as the B hold, well, it disappears, but the retake's even better.
Yeah, what a hold. Black Tier's been having a pretty good game so far. Few of the kills maybe not quite as impactful, since there was 2 3v1s that he got down to 1v1s, falling a little bit short, but overall he's looked crisp. PHR with a great pistol round as well after having a bit of a slower game so far. It's exactly what Illuminar needed to start waking up to hopefully get things going on this CT side. Nade being heard, so they're not going to commit quite yet. Plenty of time as well, and it looks like they're happy enough to fall back off. Only Glocks in play, so if they were to rush through, they likely would be just feeding themselves to the slaughter. I don't know what more success is going to be found here. Challenge in mid, they might be able to dink up a player a bit towards window, maybe get the finish, but it should be either way a pretty quick exchange once the action starts.
Yeah, it's not going to be great.
With a run boost. Nope, didn't go well. Didn't work at all, actually.
The classic, you try and run boost out top mid, and what you do is you plop your first teammate into the middle of no man's land. They're trying to keep them away from this palace push. That's the call here, and it very nearly works out. The rotation from PHR just about in time. There was a moment there where there was 4 players in mid watching for that delayed rush out mid, and it very nearly worked. I can't believe I'm saying that, because that is just about the most matchmaking strat you'll ever see, isn't it? Oh, if 4 people go somewhere, I'll take the bomb somewhere else. And then when they rotate to kill you, I'll get the bomb down. But it very nearly sticks the landing, so not a bad call from VERTEX. And it means they can get their rifles out into the 3rd round of this second half. First opportunity to really show us what they're made of on the T side. And almost immediately, it's going to be a heavy lean into A.
Yeah, straight up. Molly down, slows them a small bit. Tiny bit of presence just being shown at top mid there by Brace, but yeah, they want to just straight up commit this on towards A. A good nade should do some decent damage. It actually doesn't really connect at all. Instead, the flash down is what catches APOC. It allows for Black Tier to go ahead and rip off 2 heads already. And actually a turret then as he swings on Ruffleco, spreading the tears. It's all on Brace and PZ. 2 of the more notable players in terms of their performances so far, PZ especially. But I think this is a little bit too much to ask of them. Unfortunately, it was a one for one on both occasions. And now we have the scoreline tied up at 9-9. And it's likely to go in favor of Illuminar before we have a full gun round again from VERTEX.
And this is what I was talking about, that situation where they've won the pistol, clean conversion, first rifle buy's gone well their way, Black Tier making absolutely sure of it, and suddenly that solid first half feels like nothing. All right, you're 9-all on your objectively worst side of Mirage, up against full rifles, just pistols in hands to stop Illuminar taking the lead on their map pick. It's been a solid effort so far, but this would take something truly special, and okay. Apoc dubbed with a blinder of a shot takes out Black Tier, the hero of the previous round, and that's the man advantage. VERTEX now just look to group, get those pistols together. 3 shots of the Deagle to the chest will take a man down, and if you've got 5 Deagles ringing out, it doesn't take long to get that done, and that's what they're hoping for here. Queuing up into this B site, the little utility they've got will go. There's enough there for a full execute. Hot flash over the top, get a couple of these players in. Morel's playing a ratty little angle here. It is commonly checked, and they do bait him into the shot, but he'll find his first, falls back inside of the site, gets zaNNN in for support, and the kills just keep on coming. 3, leaving Roffelko and Brace, nothing they can do. A stellar hold of that B site. Looked a little worrying for just a moment as Apoc Dud found the opener, but very quickly stabilized. 4 players kept alive, economy continuing to build. And VERTEX, it's not getting dangerous yet, but they need to start finding a response in the next couple of attempts.
Yeah, I'd say it's getting a little bit dangerous now, to be honest. Considering they did have the 9-6 lead at one point. I think it was 9-4 or even 9-3. Now, unfortunately, they're actually down a little bit while here on the T side, so they should be, at the very least, sweating a small bit. Definitely somewhat nervous. Alice aggression, though, coming in. There was a boost towards ramp initially to see if they could find the op pick, but overall, they're just going to leave Roffelko to hold and make sure no A aggression comes all the way through. Main focus seems to be towards getting that mid control. They're just waiting on Brace to come out of underpass. And, well, now that they have made their presence shown, I suppose, around this area, at least a small bit, it looks like they're just grouping on B. And this is the perfect call. zaNNN is only just about moving back into position in time. That's not ideal, though.
That'll allow them to drop as well. That'll allow the second player to rotate back, so there will be a 2-man hold here. A little bit outside of the site, but they can still catch him on the drop. zaNNN with the early kill. Molotov to flush him into the open. Will be traded cleanly by Malta. Decent damage from Morels, but again, not quite able to find the killing line. Peasy predicts the backstab beautifully, and suddenly, with a few kills in quick succession, it's a man advantage for VERTEX. Bomb to go down. PHR and Black Tier want to have a crack at this. They've got the money to throw a go, knowing that if they can take the rifles away, it will be VERTEX on the back foot completely and utterly in terms of finances. Black Tier just pre-firing out of short, trying to draw the attention away from PHR, who's working his way behind the smokes, but Malta's got him, and it's all onto the last man. PHR only able to find the one. Good response from VERTEX. A solid take of that B site comes through. They level things out again. And now it is truly anyone's game. 10-all. Both teams have got money. Both are pretty much going to go broke if this round goes wrong. The utility investment will ensure that for Illuminar. This feels like a very important swing round in the context of the game.
It definitely is. Illuminar didn't build up as much as they probably would have hoped in those few rounds, as you said, so both teams within risk of being broken in a single round loss. Mask, though, lands that initial shot on Apoc Dud, and he was actually alone and on mid, so there wouldn't have really been any risk of the trade coming back in. But either way, Mask had decided to relocate, and it was for that reason, because he had the read. PZ gets caught in towards Palace as well. It's a 5-on-3, and Illuminar just don't need to take any risks anymore. They can chill, they can set up crossfires, just make sure they're ready to trade if this push comes forward. And, well, they should be getting confirmation real soon. I'm not sure if PHR actually spotted him when he went for the jump peek. It seems he did. But Black Tier decides to take a very aggressive peek downstairs, and he pays for it.
A little bit too much. Flashbang needed, didn't come through. As a result, with a minute left on the clock, it's just the one-man disadvantage for VERTEX now. They've got the utility available as well. Smoke, molly, handful of flashes. And here they go. The execute starts to come in. Smoke will go towards. That's a connector smoke. It leaves jungle and CT open. Currently only CT occupied, however. They know PHR's location. He's been jump peeking, calls for the support of Masked, who will now look to hold the site, but it's going to be a plant for short, I think. Alt triple plant. It's an awkward fight for Malta. He gets taken out, and PHR continues to frag out. Goes for the high ground peak. Brace will put him down, but the damage is already done. A 1v3 for Brace. He's got no idea where to look. 15 seconds to try and get that bomb down, and as soon as he does, zaNNN puts him in his place. The lead regained, and as we said, a big swing round going against VERTEX. The loss bonus isn't as bad as I thought on first glance, so they will be able to get a half buy into this one. Tech9's utility is really solid, buying up pretty much across the board. PZ, the only player, is probably going to pick up essentially nothing to try and save for that AWP again, but regardless, it should be a 12th round here for Illuminar. They've been pretty good at clearing up these half buys so far. I'll hope that they can do the same again. Early mid util.
You've ruined it by saying that. I can feel the curse already. We'll see. Yeah, Glock and for PZ actually didn't bother upgrading. It's all being thrown over. I'm not gonna immediately commit though. Hoping I guess to bait out a bit extra utility before they go for the full commitment. They did already pull out a molly.
Pulled out two.
A ton of rotations have come through now because of that as well, and there's still a bit of utility for them to work with as well. So I don't really see Illuminar struggling very much. Morels, it's a bit dangerous there, nearly getting caught, but he gets one kill, he falls back, he knows to just bait them in at this point, and well, despite eventually falling himself, his teammates won't have any issue cleaning it up. There you go, zaNNN with the final kill. It's 12-10, 2 rounds in the difference, and well, this is the best lead we've seen Illuminar pick up so far, rather. See whether VERTEX can close that gap back in once again, because if they don't do it now, if they don't do it in this round, then it goes 14-10, and at that point VERTEX pretty much just got to be flawless.
This is it. Do or die time. Boosting up PZ to try and get an early pick, but nothing being given away. Aggression into the A ramp, called this time by Illuminar. Brace takes a tag as Aggression also in underpass, pushing everywhere the CT side and continuing to make it work. zaNNN push it up short, grabs a double kill top of mid, and this has just been a disassembly. Illuminar are pulling the pieces apart like it's Lego at the minute. zaNNN up on short, Morel's peeking in from lower. It's 2 bodies, he can't land shots onto either of them. Malta is the next to fall. And Roffelko, well, he was the A-lurk. So he's left wondering what on earth has happened to his teammates. Bomb will at least be recovered. I really am scrambling for silver linings, though.
There's not many, fortunately.
Work his way into top mid, see if maybe there's a kill, but there is absolutely nothing. 13th on the board, double dink swiftly, dispatches of the last man. It's a flawless round for Illuminar. VERTEX call their 3rd tactical timeout. I can't say I blame them. This one's going to have to be a half buy. Can't afford everything they want. And then that's 14. That's 1 rifle buy between them and losing the map.
That's the problem. I mean, they could get 3 AKs. 2 of the players with those AKs could get decent nades, so you could somewhat justify the force. I don't think it's a good idea, though, but something they probably would have at least looked at, considering they have this pause currently. Yeah, it looks like pistols are going to be upgraded. It's going to be very likely an uncontested 14th round going the way of Illuminar. Yeah, a little bit. Pistols, nades, enough to challenge. There's definitely a shot at getting something done. PZ just doesn't bother upgrading when he buys the nades. Never gets himself a pistol, even when he has quite a bit more than most on his team.
I mean, he's the AWPer, so it's kind of understandable. Would be nice to see maybe a pistol and not the nades, yeah. Master's going to get a freebie. The B-rush has been called. Grabs a second as well. Malta blinded up nicely by PHR as his second victim. There is a close player now. Apoc Dud has worked his way towards the kitchen window, tagged up through it though, and zaNNN meanwhile has worked his way into this short control. Is pulling them left, right and centre. PZ on a recovered Tech9, so he does get a pistol upgrade even if he doesn't buy one. Finds at least a kill. Goes down in amongst the fray though, and this is it for VERTEX on Mirage. This will be the buy. Throwing near enough the full life savings at it. And it's not a bad look either. Problem is, as you said previously, this was a 9-4 scoreline at one point. So for the 10 rounds that Illuminar have put on since then, VERTEX have managed exactly one T-side round. It doesn't make pretty reading if you are a fan of the Aussies, and as they take their last time out, they'll be realising that too. This is the moment where, if you're Brace, you're going right to the back of that strat book, finding the pages that you tore out, you scribbled over, you thought, no, they won't work, and thinking, we've got to give them a try because you've tried everything. You've had 9 rounds of trying to break this down. It's only worked once.
There's just something about the Aussie T-sides today for some reason.
Yeah, it's just not pretty.
Hopefully the trend won't carry over into the game for Order later on. They'll need strong T-sides in their match against Endpoint. It's going to be a banger of a match for sure. Here we go. The full gun round, potentially the last one for VERTEX. If this doesn't work, unless they get a bomb plant, then they'll definitely have a somewhat limited buy in the following round. It's mid control. 2 players out under, a couple coming out top mid as well. There's not really much of a challenge being put in by Illuminar, so control definitely will be taken. What do they look to do with it this time is the question. zaNNN catches Malta. Might even be able to back away with that smoke that he's currently put down, and, well, it may not be necessary, I was going to say, because his teammates are already finding kills all across the map. A couple trades do eventually come back, of course. Dud manages to fall back from mid as well there without being spotted by the player that came out of underpass. So, 2-on-3. Pretty winnable for VERTEX, especially considering the time.
Certainly time to manipulate the rotations. Problem is, Illuminar have set themselves well. PHR tucks into CT, can jump peek if he requires. Morel's able to hold connector in mid, and he's actually just swung out mid. Confirmed it's clear, drops into CT, allows him to rotate both ways depending on which side the hit comes through into. And they've got utility available for the retake as well, Illuminar. Handful of HEs, Molotov, smokes to lock out angles. They don't even have to commit to contesting this bomb transfer into the site, and you can see that here. They're comfortable and confident that they can stick a retake with a man advantage. PHR will hear the utility. Has a little bit of a wander out and spots Peasy as well. That's bomb down, 13 seconds. Dud knows he's got to clear his man, but the edge of the smoke betrays him. It's 15 on the board for Illuminar. All starts with that mid kill. zaNNN, I think he runs fast short into ladder there, because the vent isn't broken, and I think that's what undoes VERTEX as well. They're clearing it, but the vent isn't broken, and you can see he takes that extra half second to clear it because he sees the vents closed and he thinks, there's no way anybody could be in there. And that's what gets it going. 15-10. And as we said, this last buy of the half, it was never going to be pretty. They have managed to scrape 3 AKs together, limited utility behind them, a Galil and a Deagle to make sure they've got the nades they want.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it could have been. They have the minimum to work with. They have the rifles and they have an entry. Okay. Good work by Brace. I believe that was a bit of revenge on towards the player who plays around ladder. They'll be feeling good after how things played out in the previous round. It wasn't zaNNN this time, but it was one of those B players, and that's going to force zaNNN to begin rotating back over. He'll spot that they're already pushing out. There's not really a ton that he's going to be able to do about it. Although he does try and work his way out kitchen. So that leaves them now in a 3-on-5 with the option of saving not really being... I was going to say not really being all that open considering the flank, but Masked was just like, wait, hang on, let's have a look at A, just in case.
He's got a big kill as well. I think at this point it will be the save that's called, but it's an aggressive save because they want to try and keep VERTEX pinned in. They know that the economy is struggling. They want to try and prevent their exit routes, take as many rifles away as they can, and well, Masked, he wants a bit more than that. He wants a crack at this round, and he's found a second. The bomb's a long way gone, and they've got no idea on these last 2 players. Malta, I think, will bail them out of this situation. A mistimed jump from Black Tier certainly will. I think they were initially just hoping to keep players in, but so much damage was found by Mars that he fancied a crack at it. Does mean they've given an AWP across, means the buy will still be able to come in over on the T side of things into the next. Of course, the Illuminar are still buying pretty much the kitchen sink into this one.
Yeah, and they won't be hitting an issue for another round or so at the very least. Even then, a couple players will probably still have some money. So yeah, VERTEX need to keep on grinding their way through these full buys. Looking like it is going to be the A hit. They're showing a bit of mid presence, but that was a missed window smoke. Almost cost them his life right there. Fortunately, a missed up shot gives a second opportunity, and well, they'll have to commence this A push now, actually deciding maybe that they don't want to go for it anymore. Problem is, it's the bomb, I believe, that's already pushed out. So yeah, they fall back. There we go.
Yeah.
Put a bit of pressure on and baited out a ton of utility, so there was some success.
It's not bad. They would have hoped for a little more. And now, with limited time left on the clock, they'll go for a second pump of this hit. The bomb has stayed A ramp the whole time. On the back of Malta. Now smoked off from proceedings. PHI will play the edges of it. They want to split this through mid. With 35 seconds left, the timing is going to be key. There's a top con smoke. They can queue up behind that, but it'll take 15-20 seconds to pop. With Blacktear playing close to it, that's actually going to stall them for a long old time here. You can see it. 20 seconds left. They're going to have to go through their own smoke, and a tiny gap gives Blacktear the entry he wants. He knows there's potential for more presence. He's holding for it. Brace reacts quicker, though, and now it's on PHR. He's caught the bomb in transition. Mask picks off another as Peasy responds, and now with 10 seconds left, they've got to get that bomb down. It means that Peasy is out in no man's land, and 16-11 it will be. Illuminar getting it done at the final moments, and we'll be back to work out how in just a few minutes.